Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Rune here, back with another Wonderlands video, and today I'll be going over the best of the best Wonderlands builds, which are shown in the Wonderlands build documents made by myself and a bunch of other people in the community. Since this is written down in the doc and some crossovers with my own builds in its videos and other people's videos, I will be just doing a quick overview, and you can find the exact info like the skill tree, gear, gameplay style over there. I will link the build doc in the description, and any videos related to those builds can be found in the build doc. There's also a table of contents within the build doc, as well as a changelog to show when the last update of the document was, so you can make sure you don't miss anything new. And at the time of making this video, there are a couple builds to be added. But before we get started, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands and Wonderlands content. So first off, we have Spellsplosion. This is a Spellshot Graveborn combo, maximizing the spell damage with the power of dual spells and short cooldowns, and focusing on the power of double dipping with Blast Gasp and especially Double Knot. Some of the spells I like to use are the Laser Hand for easy crit chance and the Wicked Gossip with its double dipping ricochet. You can basically use any spell. Some will work better than others, especially some with longer cooldown spells, but there are some other builds in there that are better for those longer cooldowns, but you can basically just use whatever you want. Then we have Blightfuse. This is a Blightcaller Spore Warden gun build, maximizing the damage and clear speed with guns with 3 double dipping skills. You've got the Spore Fuse enchant, Play the Angle skill, and Geist in the Shell skill, allowing you to basically use any gun you want for mobbing and bossing. You can even put in a 4th double dip with the Barbalode amulet for even better mobbing. Some of my favorite and go-to guns are the Ruby Spite for mobbing and the Swordsplosion for bossing. I also really like the purple Riveter Zukov pistol, as it's just a great masher pistol going and spamming everywhere. Then we have another gun build called Candybore. This is a Spore Warden Stabbomancer build using From the Shadows, Play the Angles, and the Marshmallow spell to make single target possible with Play the Angle. You can deal hundreds of millions of damage with ease. It does take a little angling, but once you get that down, it's super easy. This build is a little bit more gun specific than Blightfuse, but can hit higher damage when done right. Blue Cake is your go-to bossing weapon, which is unusual for a gun build, but it does wonders one-shotting bosses. I also like to use the Last Rites for mobbing, as it already ricochets, so having Play the Angles also going makes it even better. And we have Blender. This is a Stabbomancer Brrzerker build, and this is peak melee, one of the strongest builds in the game for easy melts. Not really one-shotting, but it's gone in like 2 seconds. So it's basically that. You'll be melting bosses in seconds with Alchemical Agent with Brrzerker's formula, and some possible Blast Chill on the side, still dealing amazing damage. I like to use the Pickaxe for mobbing with its fast swing speed, as well as using the Livewire with it and having chains everywhere. And then for bossing, I like to use the Salt and Battery with a Spriggan or Cobalt for the melee damage boost. Then we have Dorothy, aka Dotty. This is a Blightcaller Stabbomancer dot build, and it is absolutely peak build and can technically hit infinite damage with the right setup that is explained in this guide, but enemies don't have enough health to do so. But it has been modded up to like Chaos 500, and so you can see that infinite damage, and so it eventually can still clear stuff. You can use guns or spells for dots, and I also have a casual version in there where you can go super hardcore. I like to use the Swordsplosion, Shadowfire, Cannonballer, Crossblade, and White Rider for guns, and the Laser Hand, Wicked Gossip, and Sawblade for spells. There's also a Geist in the Shell spam option, which is a 3rd high tier option for gun builds. With those, I like to use the Riveter Zukov and the Nightshade. And then we'll be going over some of the melee action skill builds. What makes these especially strong is that they're melee, so they get a bunch of other stuff. First off, we'll go over Stormbringer. This is a Clawbringer Stabbomancer build focusing on melee and Storm Dragon's judgment damage. Clawbringer on its own can lack damage, but with Alchemical Agent, the hammer can melt enemies while having regular melee and potential melee spell of Smithy's Ire for some in-between damage when your action skill's on cooldown, but it's got a really low cooldown, and this thing just melts bosses when done right. Then we have Dreadwind, which is Brrzerker's Stabbomancer, focusing all on Dreadwind damage, also using Alchemical Agent to maximize damage output for mobbing and bossing. There's also a version in skill tree focused on having infinite Dreadwind uptime where we don't have Alchemical Agent, so your bossing is more focused on your melee specifically because we're using Blast Chill, but the mobbing still does great damage and it's a lot of fun and I love it. Since it does lack range, a lot of times there is Executioner's Blade taken or just going Stabbomatic, but that is some downside to take into account. Then we have Ghostblade. This is a Stabbomancer Blightcaller build focusing on maximizing the Ghostblade damage. There's also options for Clawbringer and Brrzerker secondary classes that are also listed there, but Blightcaller allows for a lot more casual play and getting a lot easier bonuses than, say, Brrzerker, which can mean like a lot better gear to hit higher damage, but your everyday player cannot hit that. This is optimized to mob with the combination of crossbolts and barberload, as well as some very strong bossing. Then there's also a lot of other builds that just aren't as strong as this, but can still clear really well. Like we've got a dedicated Barrage build, Dire Sacrifice build, Pharaoh Surge, Bog Totem. We've also got one focused all around the Stabbomatic. We've got one focused all around amps and doing one-shots in mobbing and very good melts and bossing, as well as a gun Spellshot build that goes around really fast with a hybrid of spells. And we got a couple hybrid builds in there, and there's just a lot, so you definitely want to read everything and check it all out. But that'll be it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure to comment down below and I will be sure to answer them. Also, the build doc will be linked in the description with all the info on the builds talked about. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Borderlands and Wonderlands content, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.